something that occurred to me about a week or two ago now, when I simply went to, I turned on my PS4, thought I'd play some games for a couple of hours to kill some time, had some spare time available, so I thought, let's play some games. Went on my PS4, for about a solid 20 minutes, looked through my library on the PS4 itself, looked at, the games I have physically, and for about 20 odd minutes I was just like, what do I really want to play? Do I want to really play anything? I was going through my games, I was thinking, no, I don't really want to play that, don't want to play this, don't want to play that. And it got to a point where I was like, oh crap, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to play. I don't really want to play anything. And that is something that has rarely ever, if at all, ever happened to me in terms of playing games. It never happened on the PS2, it never happened on the PS3, and that's something I want to get to later. Yes, occasionally you get burnt out on one game. We all do. We all binge a game for months on end, don't we? And then in most cases you do get to a point where you're just like, oh, okay, I need a break from this, and you don't play it for a while. But this is different. I've never not wanted to play anything. There's always been a game there available to me that I would want to do and want to play. And yet, on this occasion, there really wasn't. And this led to me thinking, in terms of this console generation, it really has been quite... It hasn't been that good, has it really? Now, obviously, this is all subjective, and I'm sure there are people out there that completely disagree with what I'm saying. They might agree with me in a way that this generation hasn't been as good as certainly the last generation, but there are plenty of very good games on it. And I'm not saying there aren't good games. Of course there have been good games, but there's nothing. I was trying to think. There's nothing for me, at least, that stands out. There really isn't. And that's completely different to the last generations. Obviously, for me, I've always been a Sony person, so I will reference the last generation as PS3 quite often. Obviously, the Xbox 360 was quite massive. But when I had my PS2, I never had a time where there wasn't a game I wanted to play. I was on my PS2 pretty much every day. There was never a point where there wasn't something I wanted to do, and this was before I had any interest in shooters, because I was a kid and innocent at that point. PS3, there was even more variety because I got into shooters, first-person shooters. I got into Call of Duty, and again there was always something there. And when I'll talk about this later, but there was many other games as well. I'm just thinking of myself. And then there's PS4 and Xbox One. There's this generation, and what is there? What is there that's very memorable? Like I said, let's go first of all go through PS3 and Xbox 360. You obviously had exclusives like Halo on Microsoft console, Xbox 360. You had things like Last of Us and Uncharted by Naughty Dog for PS3. You had Call of Duty in its prime. There were not just one good Call of Duty, there were multiple good Call of Duties. You obviously have Modern Warfare 2, COD 4, World War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3. You had countless of them. You had a few good Battlefield games, obviously, as well, looking at shooters. You had massive juggernauts like GTA. You had GTA 4, you had GTA 5. And there was just so many more. There seems like there was so many more memorable moments on PS3 and Xbox 360. Not only that, but from a personal point of view, again, I don't know, I can't say this is the case for everyone, but for me, playing on PS3 was so much more social as well. We were all, every night there seemed to be loads of us on. There'd be at least a few of us anyway, literally every night. And nowadays it really isn't the case. Obviously that's just my sort of friend group. That's not necessarily same as everyone else, but that's something that I consider, at least. So yeah, certainly compared to the last generation of consoles, this just seems to suck a little bit. It doesn't seem very good. It seems quite shit. Obviously we do have games on PS4 and Xbox One that are good. I do want to, obviously we've still got the future. There's still time for this generation to become one that's at least partially as iconic as the last one was. But it just, I'm trying to think of what's my most played game. Obviously, again, you did have GTA 5 came across, and that was obviously massively popular on PS4 and Xbox One, and PC obviously. And then And then you have things like The Last of Us again came over, Halo Master Chief Collection came over, even though that was a little bit disappointment. Games like Call of Duty and Halo as well on the Xbox One, pretty much on these consoles, have been very poor. Call of Duty, the best one's probably World War II, or you could even argue the best Call of Duty that's been on these consoles is Modern Warfare Remastered, which is a game that came out 10 years ago essentially. So you're looking at remasters that are the main features. As I said about Halo 5 wasn't that much cop, was it? Let's be honest, it wasn't brilliant, and Halo hasn't been the same since it stopped being made by Bungie. It's just not the same. There hasn't been any, I can't think of any standout proper really good games on PS4 and Xbox One. Now obviously, again, we all have our opinions, so there will be people that disagree with that. There will be people that are thinking you're talking shit. That's fair enough. But I like to think that for the most part, I'm not actually that far away from what people generally think. There's just not been anything that stand out about this generation. And the consoles themselves are fine. It's nothing wrong with the consoles themselves. This hasn't gotten fucking hell. My chair made a large squeak there. This isn't anything to do with like a console war. We're not doing that because that's fuck off with console wars. Anyway, there's just not. It's just the games aren't good. The games aren't as good. That's my point, really. The most iconic game of this generation was free to play. It was a battle royale, and it was cartoonish as hell. And it's now infuriating me to the point where I can't stand it. And that is Fortnite. Just to make the point, I know someone is bound to see that I was uploading Fortnite a few weeks ago. I can't tell you how quick that has fallen off for me. I didn't enjoy it in the first place. I didn't like the fact it was so popular in the first place. I thought, okay, I need to try this because my opinion's based on nothing. Tried it, enjoyed it for a little bit, then got bored of it, and now I hate it. Anyway, this isn't about Fortnite. But my point stands that Fortnite is the biggest game of this generation so far. And it's free to play, and it's really not. It's not anything different. Well, it's a different variation of something that's already been done, Battle Royale. But it's just not. How is a game like that the most iconic game of a generation so far? It's just not. It's just unbelievable. But it's not all bad. We want some positivity here. Obviously, this generation of this console generation isn't over. And to be fair, this year looks pretty good for games. Obviously, another game that was iconic on PS3 and Xbox 360 was Red Dead Redemption. We're getting the sequel to that this year, and that's going to break all sorts of records, I'm sure. And I'm sure that's going to be a brilliant game. Rockstar always hit the ball at the park, so I'm sure that would be good. Black Ops 4 looks promising. Battlefield 5 is coming out, and that's revealed in the next couple of days. It might even, depending on when I upload this, it might already be revealed as of you watching this, but as I'm recording it, it's a couple of days away yet. Or a few days away, I don't know how long away it is. But Battlefield 5, it seems like it's going to be like Battlefield 3 and 4, that sort of modern era, and I'm really excited for that. There are games coming out, that's my point. There are still games to go. We do get, on the PS3 side of things, we do get PS4 side of things. Last of Us 2 has been teased about, and hopefully we'll get some more information of that in the near future, E3 obviously. And if that comes out, I can not tell you how much I loved The Last of Us. It's probably my favourite game ever. So The Last of Us 2 will be very popular for me at least. But yeah, I just don't. It's kind of sucked overall so far. But like I say, hopefully it will get better. Do be sure to leave your thoughts in the description. You can't edit the description, Jesus, Connor. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I am interested, I'm intrigued to see what people would say on this, because, like I say, there is this subjective. We all have our opinions. I'm sure there are people out there that disagree. What games would you say have been the best of this generation? I mean, I like I say, I really want to know what you would consider to be that. And like I say, I want to be shown that maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'm just being stupid. Anyway, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed or if you agreed with the points I made. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.